problema nito? Okay. Hi guys, this is your Tita in China, and today we're talking about the passport system in the Philippines. I will also give you some information about renewing your passport, which is infinitely easier than getting a new one. The good news is the validity of our passport is now extended to 10 years. However, there is a small downside because we still have the same number of pages. Why is this an issue? A lot of top travel destinations for Filipinos still require us to have a visa. And usually visas will take up an entire page of your passport. So if you're planning to travel a lot in the next 10 years for vacation, pleasure, or business, that may be a problem for you. Because every time you apply for a visa, they will usually require you to have at least one blank page. However, that's just a small issue, I think, and it's still better that we have a passport validity now of 10 years as opposed to the old 5 years. For minors, the validity of the passport is still 5 years. And this makes sense, especially because children and babies, they change physically so much that if you have a passport that's 10 years old and you got it when you were an infant, you probably will not be recognizable anymore. So for adults who are planning to get a new passport, you only really need two basic requirements, and that is the original and the photocopy of any of these IDs. And the second one is your birth certificate, and it has to be authenticated by the National Statistics Office or the NSO. Generally a painless process. You can do it online now and you can get your birth certificate in 2 or 3 days. For the birth certificate, you will need a copy and the original when you go for your passport appointment. For married women, especially if you're using your husband's last name, you need to bring your marriage certificate, and it has to be authenticated by the Philippine Statistics Authority or the PSA. And if you got married abroad, you need to bring your marriage report that has been authenticated in the country where you got married. If you're a Filipino married to a foreigner, you need to bring your certificate of attendance from the Commission of Filipino Overseas Guidance and Counseling. For minors, aside from your birth certificate and your ID, you also need to have your parent or your guardian with you. If you have a guardian with you, then he or she must have a special power of attorney. And whether it's a parent or a guardian with you, they need to present a valid ID. Now, if you're renewing your passport, all you need to do is to bring your passport and a valid ID plus the renewal form. Now, you have to remember that only e-passports are considered for renewal. And this is what the e-passport looks like. And there is this logo at the bottom of the pasaporte that indicates that it is indeed an e-passport. Now, if your passport doesn't have this, it's an older version of our passport and will not be considered for renewal. It will be considered a new application. So those are the requirements. That's done. What's the next thing you need to do? You need to schedule an appointment date online. All you have to do is to visit the DFA website, and there will be a section there where you can set up your appointment online. You need a working email, and you need to have a computer that can read PDF files, which is practically every computer now. You fill out the form and it will ask you all of your basic information. And after you finished filling everything out, you're going to get a link on your email. And when you click on that link, you will find the form that you will print out and also like a voucher for your appointment. On the day of your appointment, as usual, don't be late and bring all of the requirements. Also, make sure that you're dressed properly. You don't need to be wearing smart casual or office attire or anything like that. When you get there, it's pretty painless aside from the fact that you will be playing musical chairs with everyone else as you go through all of the chairs eventually to the window. But I mean, to be honest, it's really not that bad. Right at the window where you submit your requirements, you will be told when you can get your passport. And it's usually 7 to 10 business days for the express service and 20 business days for the regular service. The express service is 1,200 and the regular service is 950 pesos. So after you submit the requirements in one window, you go to another section, you queue up to pay, and after that, you will queue up again, play musical chairs again to get your biometrics, and that is your photo, your signature, and your fingerprints. When you get your biometrics taken, they will ask you to check for all of the information in your passport, meaning your birth date, your name, your middle name, and make sure you do that really well. They will charge you a spoilage fee if you come back and you realize that some of the information there is not correct. Aside from the fact that you're going to have to wait another 7 to 20 business days depending on which one you choose for your new passport. You can go back and pick up the passport yourself on the day on the receipt, or you can make things easier for you and just pay an additional 120, I think, for them to courier your passport to you. It may take 1 or 2 days more than expected, but it really is so much more convenient to do that. Now we go to the hard part. I don't know, maybe it's just the accessibility of travel these days that more and more people are traveling abroad, or maybe it's just a systematic issue, or whatever the problem is. As of right now, there are no more slots until June of 2018. And while it's true that every day there are slots that free up, that is very, very rare, especially in Metro Manila. I have friends who have gone to Palawan and Cotabato just so they can get a passport. Another good alternative, if you can't get an appointment yourself, is to go to a travel agency. But in my experience getting my last passport, not a lot of travel agencies have slots anymore. So if your passport is within 6 months of expiry, or if you don't have a passport yet, and if you're planning to hit that seat sale for an international trip, make sure first that you already secured your appointment for your passport. However, there is a way for you to get your passport without an appointment. All offices of the DFA, whether the head office or the satellite offices, have a courtesy lane. The usage of the courtesy lane is a privilege that is offered to minors, senior citizens, solo parents, pregnant women, and people with disabilities, and OFWs. And yes, even if the privilege is extended to minors only, the parents or the guardians of the minors 7 years and below can accompany the minors and also apply for a passport themselves. Senior citizens can have one companion with them who can also apply for a passport. Solo parents can also avail of the courtesy lane, but they need to bring their solo parent ID. Pregnant women can avail of the courtesy lane, but if you're not yet visibly pregnant, you need to have a medical certificate from your doctor, and that medical certificate must indicate the clinic or the hospital where the doctor is at, the doctor's PRC number, and contact number. The same goes for PWDs. If your disability is not visible, then you need to show a PWD ID. For OFWs who want to take advantage of the courtesy lane, you need your iDole card, a visa, and your employment contract that's been authenticated by the POEA. If you're qualified to use the courtesy lane, all you have to do is to go to the DFA office that's nearest you and you will be accommodated right away. However, Ali Mall restricts the number of people who use the courtesy lane every day. This is not something that all satellite offices have though, because Mega Mall does not have this restriction. So if you are planning to use the courtesy lane, make sure that you check first at the satellite office that you want to go to and see if they have any restriction to the number of people that can use the courtesy lane that day. So, kayo nilang bahalang dumiskarte dyan. However, in my experience, especially in getting my last passport, there were some people who were allowed to use the courtesy lane even if they don't really meet the requirements, and that's because they have an emergency. The one I saw specifically was the wife of an OFW who passed away abroad, and she had to go repatriate the body back to the Philippines. Of course, she had all of the documents that proved her claim and why she needed to get a passport ASAP, and she was allowed to use the courtesy lane. But I'm guessing this is definitely a case-to-case basis. So that's it for the passport system here in the Philippines, guys. If you like more videos like these, please like and subscribe to my channel, or I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye!